The only natural phenomenon where one part of society considers itself the ultimate expert and can dictate policy across the entire organism is cancer. And that's what cancer is. That's what a central bank is. That's what Keir Starmer is.
You know, when you say 40 trillion in debt, 100 trillion in debt, don't you think that most people, and I'd include myself in this, of course, have become inoculated to that stream of zeros? You can't even make sense of it anymore. None of us really I still don't understand why the United States is in debt, why the UK is in debt. I understand what you've explained, and because of how you've explained it, that money is being generated that's not tethered to any sort of object or solidity or trade or commodity, and how that ultimately leads to decline and implosion. That bit of I get.
Look, I mean, for people who are glazed over when you talk about tens of trillions and hundreds of trillions of dollars and how that would impact their day-to-day life, I have only one thing to say. When you go to Tesco today, is the basket of stuff you're buying there more expensive today than it was a year ago or 5 years ago? Of course. That's where the rubber hits the road. You don't have to think about hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of debt. Just understand that the reason you have inflation, the reason inflation is wiping out the middle class, the reason why basic foodstuffs are becoming unaffordable, or housing is completely unaffordable in the UK. There's a housing crisis. People cannot get on the housing ladder. That's because of all this money that's being printed that's debased the currency. The pound has been debased. So that's where it hits the average person in something called inflation. The government will tell you inflation is 2 or 3%, but the government doesn't count stuff that's actually going up in price. They count, let's say, televisions that are made in Asia that are going down in price, and they'll say, well, see, there's no inflation. But they don't count housing. They don't count medical care. They don't count insurance. They don't count anything that's going up in price that people actually use, because they lie, because they're protecting the bankers, because it's a Ponzi scheme, because they're corrupt, because it's fraud, right? So as if anyone's watched Keiser report for 13 years, they know what's coming if I continue on this vector.
The UK housing crisis, inflation and poverty are as a result of exactly the problems and attitudes and behaviours and actions that you've described. Max, how is it that they 100%.
You know, in the UK, in the left side of the government, in the left-wing government, they'll say that the problem is that not we're printing too much money, but that we need to allocate where that money goes more efficiently. We don't want to give the money to social program A, we want to give it to social program B, but nowhere in nature is it possible for one entity to hold that kind of sway over the organism. The only natural phenomenon where one part of society considers itself the ultimate expert and can dictate policy across the entire organism is cancer. And that's what cancer is. That's what a central bank is. That's what Keir Starmer is. He's a literal financial cancer that's poisoning the country, but he's not alone. It's the same for every central bank in the world. All they have is this tool of printing money. It's only doing is it's hurting people, and Bitcoin is the answer.
Polymarket. All right, if you follow politics or you go on social media, you recognise that everyone has an opinion. Your group chats, the pundits, the commentators, and of course, me. I have an opinion. Do I have an opinion? Yes, I do. But on Polymarket, you actually get the real odds on what's likely to happen. Polymarket is a prediction market where people trade on real events, actual events, elections, debates, policy moves, and honestly, it's great as it doesn't stop at politics. There are markets on the economy, tech, sports, pop culture, or even the weird stuff that takes over the internet for a week. It's all live, it's transparent, and it gives you a vibe check on what people really think. I know you've heard about Polymarket before because Elon Musk has tweeted stuff of theirs. So, check it out. Join up, participate now. Give it a look. Go to polymarket.com right now.
You don't have to, have a PhD in economics to understand a lot of this stuff. Honestly, it's too simple. That one organization can print money. Think about it. Like they can decide to. I never voted to hey, let's print trillions of dollars. It's like they can print more money, causing more supply, deflating everything, and then everything else doesn't go up in the same way that like your wages, it's inflated over twice as much, I think, in real goods. Yeah.
It's called a cantillon effect. There's a name for it. When you print money, it goes to the friends of the bank first. They go out and they buy assets like fine art, stocks, gold, and then it gets cycled into the economy. It goes lower and lower and down into the economy to people who have no assets, but they have higher prices. So now they just have to pay more for food, but they don't have a yacht. They don't have an old master painting. They don't have a diamond bracelet. They're struggling to survive. Their prices go up at the same rate as the people who have the first access to that money printer. However, those people with the first access to the money printer use that increase in asset value. They don't even spend those assets. They use it as collateral to borrow money. They're never spending their own money. They're just borrowing money from who prints more money to pay the interest. So they continuously get richer. Their asset prices continually go higher. And it's people who don't have those types of assets are continually getting poorer. It is a pun. Money existed before the state. Bitcoin separates money from state. Bitcoin kills the state.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Rumble.